Well, tonight here on Channel 2, Dateline takes a look back almost 25 years at one of the most infamous moments in the OJ Simpson case.
Yeah, this is hard to believe, but listen to this. Some 95 million people were glued to their televisions watching that Ford Bronco, the white one right there, with Simpson inside making its way down an LA freeway. And it was just hours after he had been charged with murder. What happened afterwards is, of course, well known, but most don't know details about what happened during that 2+ hour chase that we see here and the high-stakes standoff with the LAPD SWAT team that could have easily ended in gunfire.
Simpson, who was resting his chin on the barrel of a revolver. If he is thinking about suicide, how is that going to happen? Is there going to be theater when he gets out and takes out other people, then self-inflicts?
Well, 20 Side's Dave McKinley talked today with Dateline's Josh Mankiewicz about tonight's episode.
Well, one thing that stood out to me, almost startlingly so, is just how close this may have come to bloodshed, either Mr. Simpson's or someone else's.
You know, I mean, SWAT was scrambled at the last minute to get to Simpson's home before he did. They got there with about 8 or 9 minutes to spare. They set up. He pulled in with Cowlings. Cowlings was definitely in the way of the negotiations. He wasn't helping things, police said. Simpson did have a loaded gun. Whether or not he was really going to commit suicide, as some people thought, or whether he simply feared being arrested at the end of this long day is an issue that we'll look at. The murders were just a couple of days earlier, and then he was missing, and then he was taken into custody, and then immediately the sort of run-up to the preliminary hearing and trial began. Who was going to represent him? What was his defense going to be? What were the prosecution going to do? What did the blood evidence say? And the events of that day sort of quickly went into everybody's rearview mirror.
Obviously, a lot of us who are old enough to remember do remember, but now you've got a whole generation who might say, OJ who?
Well, that's right. I mean, there are a lot of people who sort of know Mr. Simpson as kind of a thumbnail sketch, which is, you know, famous guy, accused of killing his wife and her friend, acquitted, and then later imprisoned for something else. And a lot of people don't know the details of that, particularly of that final day of his freedom and the first part of his incarceration.
If you thought you knew everything about this, stay tuned.
If you thought you knew everything about the O.J. Simpson story, you're almost certainly wrong.
It's fascinating stuff there, and you can see more of that interview on WGRZ.com right now. And Dateline will tell the untold story, including audio from a cell phone inside the Bronco and rarely seen deposition tapes from Simpson's civil case. That's all coming up on Dateline at 10 o'clock right here on Channel 2.